I think we can all agree by now, the Anta Kai 1 is a pretty outstanding basketball shoe. So many colorways are just so vibrant, so bold, so out there, very true to Kyrie Irving's personality. But one colorway seemed to make a lot of noise when he first wore it on court. We weren't really quite sure if they would release to the general public. A lot of people dubbed it like the moccasins, but we've since learned that it's actually a colorway that pays homage to Kyrie Irving's Native American heritage, and thankfully, Anta did eventually release it to the public. Anta Kai 1 Chief Hela. Now, this shoe dropped on October 12th for $125 in the United States. This colorway does pay homage to his Native American heritage. So the name that was given to him by the Lakota community, a community that his mom belonged to, was Hela, and that means little mountain. So you see the colorway and all the little design patterns on the shoe is all in reference to that. And first impressions of the shoe. This is the first Kai 1 that I reviewed. And I will say, when I first saw images of the silhouette of the shoe, I loved it. It was so different. It was just very unique. A lot going on, very funky, especially with different colorways, very vibrant and bold, very out there, but it just works. I've long complained about how boring Nike and some of the sneaker brands are getting with their basketball sneakers. This one just injected a ton of excitement into basketball shoes in general, I think, in 2024, along with the AE ones. It just looks very cool. And in terms of the colorway, very nice. As I get older, I like brown shoes more and more. And this overall dark brown works very well. It's not like that type of brown where it kind of reminds you of like diarrhea. It's like dark enough where it just works. I love it. I'm not sure how I feel about the tassels here, just like objectively in a vacuum, but considering the storytelling and what it's going for, I think it's about as good as you can make it on a basketball sneaker. I do wonder if the durability of these tassels, if you're really playing ball in them, if it holds up, like if it starts to peel or fall off. It is stitched onto the shoe, so hopefully not, but we'll see about that. And the upper of the shoe, it is mesh, and there's quite a lot going on. There's a lot of patterns, a lot of different nods to Kyrie Irving and his background. So you see on the toe box area, that is pretty standard, just mesh there. But then on the lateral side, you'll see these 4 symbols, and that is meant to represent strength, focus, agility, and speed, all traits that Kyrie Irving definitely has. And you see this CrossFit strap. I'll get to more on sizing, lockdown, and fit later. But this CrossFit strap has a lot of patterns on it too. So you see Kyrie Irving in the Native American inspired design. And then at the end of the strap, you see those triangle patterns. That is actually meant to represent hills. And that is another nod to Kyrie Irving's Lakota name, Little Mountain. And then on the overlays all over, you see these textured TPU layers with like little cube designs. And then of course, the most unique thing about this shoe are these tassels at the heel and at the back of the shoe. And that is another nod to Kyrie Irving's Native American heritage. And according to Anta.com, that is meant to capture the mystique of Native American sacred ceremonies. And then on the heel of the shoe, on the booty, under the tassels, you'll see Kyrie Irving's logo as well as Anta's logo. And then on the heel, very subtly debossed into the shoe, you'll see the phrase, "The journey is the reward." So just a lot going on. And then moving up the tongue, you see at the bottom of the eye stays, Kyrie Irving's number 11. The tongue itself has this like checkerboard pattern, and you move up, you see the word Anta, and then at the center of the tongue, Kyrie Irving's Anta logo. I can't say enough about all the things that are happening on the shoe, but honestly, none of it feels too much. It all works pretty well together. Now, the shoe does not come with any extra laces, just brown laces out of the box. I can't really think of another color that would look just as nice on the shoe. Maybe like black or that kind of yellowish gold that you see accents of on this shoe. But yeah, I think the brown laces look really good on the shoe already, out of the box. And then what's unique about this colorway in particular, you see these TPU sidewalls that is actually sandblasted. So it gives you that kind of soft and textile appearance and aesthetic that is also meant to kind of play into this whole theme of this Native American inspired colorway. Now the Anta Kai 1 comes with a nitrofoam midsole, a full-length nitrofoam midsole, and that is Anta's nitrogen-infused foam. And this foam itself, in terms of cushioning, it does take a bit of time to wear in and really break the shoe in. At first, it felt kind of, I don't know, the compression felt a little bit muted, felt a little bit more stiff than I was expecting. But after like 45 minutes or like an hour into playing around and shooting around, really trying to wear the shoe in, started to feel pretty good. I feel like it's a very balanced foam. Not too plush and not too firm, just the right amount once you break it in. So definitely have patience. And this shoe, in terms of support, also comes with a carbon fiber plate in the midfoot area. So again, that can contribute the initial firmness of the shoe. But I love carbon fiber, especially in that midfoot area. You don't want your shoes to be able to bend and twist very easily. You want very good support and torsional rigidity. So I love that. Carbon fiber is very lightweight, very durable. Again, have patience, break it in. It may take some time getting used to it if you're not used to playing in like this type of setup. But once you break it in, yeah, the responsiveness from that shank plate as well as the foam itself, honestly, it is very good. Probably one of the best that I felt this year. And in terms of the overall traction, another very, very unique design, very busy looking. Now, I will say this traction does take a little bit of time to like wear into. Initially, it just didn't feel that great. But again, after like an hour into it, I started to feel like the traction really wore into the gym that I was playing at. I don't think the traction is elite. I think compared to other shoes like the EQLZ 24/7, Kobe 9s, of course, I think those are better. They just really grip to the surface better than this shoe. But if you're in a decently maintained gym, doesn't have to be pristine and super good condition, I think this works good enough. If I had to choose, I probably do prefer like herringbone or multi-directional herringbone over this type of pattern. It's not the densest type of rubber though, so for outdoor use, it'll perform well, but I don't think durability-wise it'll hold up that good, and you might get like tons of little rocks stuck in between the patterns there. So I still recommend just keeping this shoe indoors. And in the very top, you see the name Elizabeth Irving. That is Kyrie Irving's mother, who passed away when he was just 4 years old. She is part of the Lakota community. So obviously Kyrie Irving inherited that from his mother. And then also on the lateral side, very subtly again, you'll see Anta basketball. The theme of this shoe, I started to realize, is really patience. Wear it in, including the cushioning and midsole, as well as the foam of the shoe, does take time to break in, and the traction itself as well takes time to wear in. The insoles of this shoe glued very tightly. I'm not going to try and rip it out and damage it, but it does have a design that fits right into this shoe. It's not the greatest quality. I didn't expect it to for $125. Can't really expect like the best insoles. And the box of the shoe, a Kai 1 box. This purple is familiar on Kai 1s now. A lot of things going on as expected. Kyrie Irving's logo at the top. 4 symbols here: strength, focus, agility, and speed. Anta logo on the other side. And the phrase, mastering your craft is a journey. Kind of similar to the phrase on the booty of the shoe. The journey is the reward. Now in terms of sizing, fit, and lockdown, I am a wide and flat footer for this shoe. I've never worn it before, never actually played ball in them. I did have the Artist on Court colorway, but I didn't get to play ball in that shoe. For the shoe, I just went true to size. And I will say, in the forefoot area, initially, when I started playing in this, when I first put my feet in, it really started to hurt like the toe area. I have wide and flat feet, so that wasn't like too surprising, especially when you strap this midfoot strap across. It was really starting to get painful. But just like the theme of the shoe, like I said earlier, had patience, break the shoe in, and it really started to loosen up. And I no longer really felt that the second time round in this shoe. Started to feel actually pretty comfortable. The ankle lining area, it is very well padded, and it comes in this almost satin lined ankle lining. Not exactly, because it's not like super smooth, which is good. You don't want like that kind of heel slippage in this part of the shoe with that very soft and smooth material. But the compression and snugness around this area is great. For comfort on court, one thing I will point out, this part of the shoe can be a little stiff, again, when you first break the shoe in, so that can start to hurt your ankles. So you may have to loosen up that part of the laces. Just initially, the tongue itself is pretty soft, so it doesn't dig into your ankles, so there's no real problem there. But yeah, just a word warning over here. And in terms of containment, this midfoot strap works pretty well, and the TPU sidewalls work very good too. I am a very light player, so if you're super heavy, you're like a power player, definitely try it on for yourself. I can't give you too much recommendations if you're like 300 pounds. But for me, a light player, a guard, I didn't feel at any point in time that my ankle, like foot was gonna roll over. The outrigger is actually decently aggressive, and you see the base of the shoe is pretty wide too, so it creates a lot of contact with the court. That is all good for containment. Now I will say, because the carbon fiber plate doesn't extend all the way up to the forefoot, if you're like a heavier player and you really value that support and kinetic energy and just firmness in that area of the shoe, you might feel a little exposed at the forefoot area. But for me, again, like I say, I'm a light player. I did not feel that. There's also a very sturdy TPU heel counter as well. So just in terms of side-to-side containment, driving, cutting, I really tried to do as hard movements as I could, but I really like busted my knees. I did not feel like my foot or my toes were gonna bust through the shoe and just get really injured once you get past a certain age. can't afford to get injured. And in terms of the court feel, this isn't like the flattest shoe, so you don't really feel like you're making very close contact with the court or with the gym. And I don't mind that. When I was younger, I definitely preferred like very flat to the feeling basketball sneakers. But as I get older, as my knees start to accumulate like wear and tear, I do prefer just a little bit of plushness and distance from the court. So it wasn't super flat to the ground, but not so far removed where you can't really feel like your feet's pushing off and exploding. So I feel like in terms of court feel, it strikes a very good balance too. Now usually for casual and retro shoes, I give it a sole score, but for basketball performance sneakers, I don't. It doesn't really make sense for those metrics, but I do have a final verdict of the Anta Kai 1 Chief Hella. Great shoe. Really, really great shoe. It does take a lot of time to break in my opinion, and my experience. Initially, I was like, man, kind of disappointed. I love Kyrie Irving. I was very excited to try these on court, but it didn't perform as well as I thought. But then once you play more and more, the cushioning starts to set in, the compression as well as the responsiveness and the traction starts to wear in. It just became a very good performing shoe. Now compared to some other highlights in terms of basketball sneakers of 2024, do I like it more than the AE1? I might. I actually might. This is slightly lighter, which a lot of people do like. I don't mind the weight of either shoe. Ooh, but it's close to the AE1 in my opinion. It is close. Do I like it more than the Sabrina 2s? I don't think so. I think the cushioning, that Cushlon 3.0 foam is still my favorite of 2024. I think it's just slightly more plush or offers better compression, at least in my experience. So I still probably would take the Sabrina 2s over this one, just for that alone. But in terms of the looks and the performance as a total package, oof, this one, the Kai 1, it is hard to beat. Now Kyrie Irving is without a doubt one of my favorite players to watch, ever. Top 3 maybe. It's like Allen Iverson, Derrick Rose, and then it's probably Kyrie Irving. He's just so exciting. Now obviously his partnership with Nike sold very well. I think one of the most popular shoes while he's still with Nike. Obviously they parted ways, but you could argue, I know it's early, but you could argue what he's doing with Anta might have exceeded what he was doing with Nike. But that's it. Thanks for watching. So inclined. Let me know what you think of the Anta Kai 1 Chief Hella. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.